So it's always kind of looking at the footage of developers and their office spaces and their workspaces, just really to see some of the little hidden jewels that you kind of find, maybe even about the game or cool artifacts that they kind of have around the office. And one of the devs actually did have something pretty unique on their desk. But really, I wanted this video to kind of be an appreciation to the Starfield dev team for what seems to be just an absolutely fantastic game. Is Starfield going to be perfect? No. And I would imagine they would probably say that too. But I've played a lot of space games over the past several years, with all of them failing to capture my interest and hold my interest long term. There are some interesting parts of some other space games out there, like Elite Dangerous, and its space flying mechanics is really kind of fun and unique and gives you the feel of you're actually flying a spaceship. I've also tried EVE Online several times over the past many years, and it's just something that never really holds me. It just never really feels like a space game, even though I know it's actually set in space. I never actually feel like I'm in a space game. But there's a lot of things I like about EVE Online. I've never really tried No Man's Sky, so I don't really have like the best of opinion on it, other than the fact I've seen it, and it's just something that doesn't appeal to me. I don't know really why that is. I don't really care for how the world looks. I don't really care for how the game looks. As far as having like 10 quintillion planets to explore, like what's the point of a game that size, honestly, in my opinion? I mean, I'm gonna never even get to 10% of that game, right? So what's the point? But it is pretty cool how they continue to build upon that game. And even Star Citizen's been the most recent game to kind of come out and be, kind of like that space and explorer and combat type game. And, I don't know, something also doesn't really sit right with me when I see that game. Like, just something about it just doesn't appeal to me, and I'm not sure really like what it is. And it just might be the fact that some of the things I've seen about it are like too sim or too much sim. And there is kind of, in my opinion, an over sim type of game, and you can make games feel over simmy. But one of the biggest issues I've kind of had with a lot of other space games before is really the lack of story. And this has been something that I've always wanted to enjoy, a space game where you can go from planet to planet to planet and fly in your own spaceship and really explore, the game world and the universe. Because another thing that kind of is a bummer with space games is that since they're set in space, you're constantly looking at just a dark background, right? And there's not much color to it. And this is one of the issues with Elite Dangerous I've kind of always had. Even when they introduce planets, like the planets are just gray in that game. There's nothing really of color and creativity in the game, especially on the story side. A lot of them just don't even have a good story to go along. They're just big open sandboxes, and there's nothing wrong with a lot of that, because I do like a lot of those games, but every now and then I do like a little bit of a change of pace to do something different. And this is where I really like and enjoy what Todd Howard and Starfield have been showing off and putting in their game. There's a lot of different games and things you can do in this one. You can go explore, you can go fly around in ships, you can go do ground combat, you can do base building, you can do crafting. So there is just a ton of cool features in Starfield, and that's what I am most looking forward to. And I feel like I have kind of found that game that's probably going to be holding my interests over the next several years in the world. But yeah, I just wanted to express my appreciation. And when you're in these worlds, you definitely are going to be counting on tools to use in those worlds, whether they're a cutter tool to mine resources or different weapons. Now, during the deep dive, you come across a gentleman named Dane Olds. And one of the things I really enjoy about Dane Olds is he really seems like he enjoys his job. He has a little side smirk, some little charisma when he kind of talks about some different things. But if you look over and behind his right shoulder, on his desk seems to be a replica. Now, this could just be one really nice paperweight, or it seems like they 3D printed what appears to be like a weapon in Starfield that they've actually showed off a lot. Early on in the deep dive footage, the first weapon that we actually see them fire was this advanced Grandel, which seems to be like it'll be some kind of SMG or a rapid fire rifle. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think anybody's really even talked about that or shown that off before. So I just thought I would bring that up and show that off. But I'd be curious to see what other kind of little trinkets or artifacts or different things that they've kind of 3D printed out of the game. And they have just stationed around the office. This is about the only one that I can really find. There are some other cool little things on some of the screens that they kind of demo off, but I'll save that for another video. But I do appreciate you stopping by, as I just wanted to show my appreciation back to the devs. It seems like they've worked very hard on Starfield, and I, for one, am going to be very appreciative, probably for many years to come, and really kind of looking forward to getting my hands on the game and exploring and finding out what they've come up with for a story and seeing how the game feels as you go across the Starfield galaxy. So really, that's about it. But I did just want to convey my appreciation back to the Starfield devs, because I don't feel like the community actually does that enough. And I guess we kind of do, as in supporting and buying products from developers, but I don't think we actually kind of take our time sometimes and say, hey, you know, we appreciate putting in the hard work. Even though, you know, sometimes there are delays in the process, I think most of the time, gamers, we are appreciative. So thank you. Take care.